Welcome back, tribe. Let's get into it. Feminism versus logic, part 2 from Fiddy.
Hi, everyone. I'm excited to welcome.
Here we go. Nobody cares, Susan.
About this is of course there are serious debates to be had about racism, but my God, the world has moved and moved fast from where it used to be.
You are part of the problem. If you
I'm
think
not part of the
you
problem.
are part of the problem, Piers, because you are denying my lived experience.
What do you mean? I'm not denying you
You're speaking
anything.
over me, for one.
Well, no, now you're playing your old trick of being the victim. And you played that you immediately came out after you were fired with all the stuff about all the insults you've had and so on and so on. Of course you're going to get insulted. I don't agree with the way they've insulted you, but when you call every white person racist and say we're all...
My mother's
well,
white.
I was going to
but when you say, I don't have the energy to talk about the racial violence of white people anymore, yes, all white people, when you call us a bunch of violent racists,
Where does slavery come from?
All of us, we are going to get annoyed. You think the hundreds of thousands of people on food banks...
First of all, she said, where did slavery come from? Everywhere. Every culture around the world literally practiced it, especially when taking over other villages or raiding warlords, etc. Before there were countries, when we lived in little tribes, people were enslaving each other. Spoils of war. Hello. But no, it's a concept of white people, apparently. Talk about brainwash. Can you have any original thought by yourself? Can you just research history for 1 second?
This country, white people amongst them are privileged.
They have more
privileges than you.
I did not say that. I did
a wealthy
not say
supermodel.
I did not. Please show me my bank account.
All right. You'll be able to make a lot of money out of this. So let me ask you again. Do you think that white people on food banks in this country are more or less privileged than you?
I did not say that, Piers. I said...
You just implied that. You said that all white people are privileged.
Let me speak, please. I'm saying that if a person is at the food banks and they're white and there's their counterpart and that counterpart is black, that white person has more of a chance of getting out of that situation than their black counterpart.
Where's the evidence for that?
Because of white privilege.
Really?
White people have more access to housing,
so poor white people, just to clarify, poor white people have a better chance in Britain of getting out of their poverty than poor black people?
Yes.
All of them?
I feel like I'm up against the wall with you, Piers.
No, you're not. What you're up against is somebody challenging you on your public statements, which you've managed to turn into a massive, great story of your poor victimhood. And I'm telling you, now you're sitting here, that I think when you say all white people are racially violent, that is deeply offensive.
But wait, there's more.
We need to be speaking about what the root of racism, what the root of sexism is. And sexism doesn't come from women. So, of course, it's caused by men. This is a social
concept. You don't think women can be sexist?
I don't think that women can enforce
misogyny. What a load of nonsense.
No, because it's all...
You don't think any women can be sexist?
Women don't uphold the patriarchy, Piers.
Uphold the what?
The patriarchy.
What's that?
You don't know what the patriarchy is?
I do, but explain it.
The patriarchy is basically a structure that puts men at the top of power. So... It's not women that enforce the patriarchy. Women don't have anything to...
The 5 most powerful people in this country currently are women.
Oof.
How does that sit with your patriarchy?
Gotcha, bitch!
Oh, that famous male feminist here. You're a white male.
Thank you so much for having me.
I've seen a lot of your clips and I can't help but think whether you actually mean half the things that you say and whether you're just trying to get attention. Do you actually believe in what you say, or are you just trying to stir the pot?
Well, a lot of people have that reaction. A lot of people have that question. I don't know why it should be weird that I don't know why it should be weird that a gay guy would be skeptical or fearful of Islam. I don't see anything strange about a gay person liking the Bible and liking the First Amendment and liking low taxes. I don't find anything odd about me, really. In order to find me peculiar or strange, or in order to think that perhaps I'm putting it on, you have to sign up to this idea of identity politics, which suggests that just because somebody is black or gay or a woman, they have to have particular political or ideological positions. I reject that idea.
I don't care whether you're gay or whatever. I'm just saying, you know.
And by the way, it says alt-right on the rise, peddler of hate. This guy got the same kind of treatment Tate did just because he made some comments. Unreal.
Some of the things are just so outrageous, and the way you put them on thing. Is he like a real-life Borat that's just out there to make fun of everyone and
what do you think is
followers?
outrageous? What do you think that I've said is outrageous?
Well,
Give me something and perhaps I can explain it for you.
You've called rape culture a fantasy. You've likened feminism to cancer. You've said that women on the pill don't look right, they don't talk right. But you suggest that we don't...
all those things are true.
Okay, you said that
all those things are true.
Do you really
rape
believe it,
culture
though?
on American college campuses, to say that there is a rape culture implies that there is a system or an environment which encourages rape. That doesn't exist on American college campuses. And just to believe in the statistics that feminists peddle, that's 1 in 4, 1 in 5 women is going to be sexually assaulted in her time on campus, you'd have to believe that American college campuses have rape rates that approach those of the Congo, where rape is used as a weapon of war. We don't reward rapists in our society. We put them in prison. On the feminism question, women agree with me. 4/5 of American women do not describe themselves as feminists, and just 7% of British women describe themselves as feminists. I would imagine that Australia, being a very sensible country, would share those views too. It's only journalists who insist on political positions and insist on feminism in public. Actual people at home agree with me.
I've heard you say that with almost every interview that I saw you do. But on your statement...
Then you should ask different questions, darling.
Headshot.
Our generation's moral imperative to take responsibility for what our children learn. We must turn our focus right now to the message and content they're exposed to on a daily basis through social media, the bullying, the experience online and in person.
That was the First Lady, Melania Trump, speaking at the UN yesterday about cyberbullying. So how did the left, how do liberals react? Well, they attacked the First Lady online. During an interview, Hillary Clinton even took a shot at the First Lady for not doing enough. Really? Joining us now, Fox News contributors, Tommy Lahren.
What the hell?
And Jessica Tarlov. You know, if this ever when we criticize Michelle Obama, conservatives, when she injected herself into politics and said, for the first time in my adult life, I'm proud of my country, the left went nuts. They made fun of Melania's shoes, what she wears to Hurricane Harvey aftermath. Where's your side defending women here?
Right here.
You're it?
No, there are a couple of us out there.
Hillary Clinton didn't.
No, well, the point that Hillary Clinton made was a policy point, and I think that's completely sound. Don't pick on her outfit. It also was fabulous. But Melania Trump picking up cyberbullying as her patron saint cause after what Donald Trump tweeted even just last weekend, right? The golf swing and the golf ball hitting Hillary in the back.
Really?
What?
Are you that humorless? Are you really that humorless?
You really laughed at that? And if that had been a conservative,
it happens.
If the golf
just
ball
look
had
at
gone
pictures
into
about me. It's
I laugh
funny.
at you all the time on the internet.
Oh,
for
great.
Sure.
You know what? I don't think Tommy gets hit harder than me. You know what, Tommy, you just don't do what the left does. Conservatives wouldn't do it, and if they did do it, they'd be ridiculed and raked over the coals.
Well, here's my question for Jessica. I mean, isn't this supposed to be a platform the left loves? We're talking about bullying. We're talking about cyberbullying. We're talking about being an advocate for that. Melania Trump is coming out in something that's not partisan at all. This is just a human thing. But yet they attack her for what she's wearing. And again, where are the feminists? They never come out. They never come out when Sarah Huckabee Sanders is called the Butch Queen.
The feminists are everywhere. They're just not supporting Kellyanne Conway, who advocates for policies that hurt women. They're not thrilled at Hope Hicks.
Stop.
Why?
She does not.
We're not talking about Kellyanne Conway.
Really?
We're talking about Melania Trump.
You think that if you advocate for an agenda...
We're talking about cyberbullying. We're talking about Melania Trump advocating for an end to cyberbullying. But yet the left goes after her and they ridicule her. And I don't see the feminists coming out saying, hey, leave a woman alone, leave an empowered female alone. I don't see the feminists doing that, Jessica. I don't.
Oh, God, not her again.
What kind of country is modern Britain? No doubt it's a country that likes to think of itself as inclusive, but that depends where you're standing. To me, as a transgender mixed race person, we live in a deeply racist society. The government's race audit for England identified discrimination against people of colour in many of our institutions, ranging from the police to the justice system to schools. Does this surprise you? It's old news to me and almost a bad joke to identify it now. It's something that we've known for years, but the political will has not been there to deal with it, and I'm not sure it is now. Why should we expect anything else from a country that's built its success on the enslavement of non-white people?
So why don't you go somewhere else then, if you hate being there so much, if you feel so oppressed as a, quote, supermodel? The gall, man, is insane. We live in some of the most decadent, privileged times ever, and the most privileged, useless people can't help but victimize themselves and feel like there's something wrong with their incredibly plush existence, where they can drive in their luxury cars and go get an avocado toast and complain it's not toasty enough in your mink sheets with your millions in your bank account getting paraded around on TV, while people in other parts of the world have to walk 20 miles just to get clean water. But your system is the one that's oppressive. Your village didn't get raided and people's heads start rolling. No. You're complaining about imaginary problems when people in the real world got real shit to deal with. Welcome to the West, man. The modern woman delusion. It's real. Everybody outside of the United States looking, outside of the West looking, shout out to everybody that doesn't live in the West, seeing this madness.
It's that continuous cycle of racism that explains where we are now. Why does the UK acknowledge the
explains where we are right now. A supermodel, getting paid just on looks. Such a tough living.
Sacrifice of people killed in wars, but not the spilled blood of black. If the UK took our oppression seriously, then people like me who call out racism would be listened to, rather than ridiculed or threatened with death. If white people want to see improvement for people of colour, they need to understand that racism is not learned, it's inherited, and either consciously or unconsciously passed down through privilege. The uncomfortable truth is that the white race is the most violent and oppressive force of nature on earth. My worry is that whatever governments do to tinker with institutional racism, it is so ingrained in the fabric of British society that it is too late to do anything about it.
And from the world cinema in Herne Hill to our own little cinema here in SW1, Monroe joins us now. Thanks for joining us and for your take. Is Britain a deeply racist society?
We live in a society where we won't even talk about it. So until we actually we've only just really started talking about modern day racism. When we talk about racism, we're always, either talking, sorry to bring up what you talked about, but
And by the way, notice the sisterhood, it's always white men, right? In this debate, she's really referencing men, white men specifically. This is how it started, man. This one's older, I remember. Years ago, the debate was about marginalized people. Then it moved into a more general sense of it's men, it's white men. Soon it'll be black men. Soon it'll be Hispanic men. Men altogether. Toxic masculinity. The patriarchy.
We're either comparing to America, which is wholly, wholly different. The history is very, very different. We celebrate the empire here, but the empire has a horrible history for people of colour. But we have a multicultural society. So there's this imbalance, and especially when it comes to education, the whole system needs to change.
But let me look at education. Let's look at the figures on education. 33% of white kids go to university or further education. 37% of black kids go to university or further education. 67% of Indian kids go to university or further education. 76% of Chinese kids go to university or further education. Where's the racism in that?
I'm talking about how people's history and how people's
But I'm talking about now and the chances of young children.
I'm not talking about their...
But what's wrong with these figures?
I'm about to tell you. I'm not talking about their academic performance. I'm talking about how we are taught about each other. If black kids aren't being taught about their histories, if we're being taught, that white history is paramount, that's essentially feeding into a white supremacist narrative. We can't be teaching kids that white is the default, that white people's history is the sole history of this country. We need to be taught about black contributions and other contributions of other cultures within society.
But for most people, what racism is and what they'd like to improve is the chances of people getting on regardless of the colour of your skin.
That's not just racism, though. I'm talking about the mental health.
But it's still quite an important thing. And these figures would suggest that as a country, we're doing reasonably well.
No, that's facts and figures.
But you think, facts and figures are important. But you think,
I think it goes deeper
that we are irredeemably racist.
Facts and figures aren't important, guys. It goes deeper than that. It's called feelings.
Just don't you?
What, this society? I do. Unfortunately, I do. I think that the success of Britain is literally based on racism.
And do you think we're irredeemably sexist as well?
100%.
But if you take something like gender,
I think
we are making advances in terms of gender pay.
All men smashing down the patriarchy, we are going to be on that page. So I think, yes,
but we can make progress.
I think we can make progress and we can combat it.
But if it's irredeemable, you can't make progress.
I mean, it's fighting human nature, and humans are flawed.
Humans are flawed, but you seem to think that white people are uniquely evil.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that individual people are unique.
Well,
I'm talking about society.
No. You said whites are the most violent and oppressive people.
Well, yeah.
That's what you said in your film.
And if you're going to go back
so that
to
would seem to me that
statistics point out too.
Really?
Wow.
Well, the Chinese were massacring Chinese and other races long before they'd ever met a white person. Attila the Hun wasn't white. It's the same in the subcontinent if you go back hundreds of years as well. The genocide in Rwanda was black on black. So is the Congo, which is the rape capital of the world. These things have got nothing to do with white people. 85% of whites in this country feel they belong to Britain. 84% of Asians. 81% of black people. It's not clear that non-white people in this country feel the way you do.
Oh, the craziest one of them all.
Welcome to Callum's Corner. Right, I went to this bloody course today, communicating in a the service users in a bloody modern world. I've walked out halfway through. I'm not chowing down on that crap sandwich any longer. I do not care if I lose my job over this. It is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Telling me how I can sit. Oh, legs together, pancaking my bloody testicles, so I feel faintly nauseous all the time. You'd like that, wouldn't you? Honestly, it is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I'm a man. There's nothing wrong with that. I've got a bloody meat and 2 beds. I've got a package between my legs. It's fine. There's nothing to be ashamed of. That's a woman. She's got a bloody lady garden and dirty pillows. There's nothing wrong with that. Granted, it can be difficult to tell now with the bloody little emo smurfs and stuff. But they'll tell you, just ask them what they identify with. Otherwise, everyone's going to be a bloody it just to please an obnoxious few people who are too ugly to get a boyfriend or a girlfriend. That's where it all comes from, I tell you. She had a face like a monkey's arse. Her mouth was the anus.
Cancel.
Starting out his dirty, obnoxious views into the world that the rest of us just have to chow down on. Well, I'm not going to be that man anymore. I'm not going to eat that shit sandwich any longer. Madness, you've got no idea what it's like out in the real world. I'm working with 80-year-old and 90-year-old men and women. Don't call it gender-neutral language. They want to be called pet and love and stuff. It makes their bloody day. You've got no idea what goes on in the real world. Sitting there with your bourgeoisie, pen-pushing, cushy roll. Shit goes down in my job. Literally. You, feminist bint, could not handle it. I'm not naming any names before you start getting all bloody litigious, but you know who you are, and you can kiss my hairy arse. Headshot. It's worth it. Just not to eat this crap anymore. Idiot.
It's crazy how quickly the narrative has changed too. We went from women just want equality, give us the opportunity and let us deal with the consequences, to we're oppressed, to men are the issue, to all men, to literally down to the definition of what a man is. Toxic masculinity is the new umbrella term to demonize anything man. Don't forget, it's toxic masculinity to be a stoic. It's toxic to be self-sufficient. It's toxic to work out, to have a strong body, to have a strong mind, to be a traditional in a sense. You're an oppressor if you want a stay-at-home wife, if you want a traditional family, if you want your woman to take care of the kids, you're an oppressor. Close your legs. Oppressor, stop taking up space. Stop mansplaining. Stop catcalling. Yet we live in a society where women have objectified themselves, where hypersexuality is pushed in the narrative, where women are happily selling their bodies on OnlyFans or becoming sugar babies. That's the new lifestyle today. What relationships? We moved past traditional relationships. It's sugar daddy and sugar baby. That's what we are today. What can I get out of a man? He's not even a person. He's a walking wallet. Look at the lyrics in music videos. Look at the narrative on TV. Men are bumbling, stupid idiots, not capable of anything. Women should lead the household. You're not allowed to have preferences as a man. How dare you body shame me? How dare you fat shame? You should accept me the way I am. You're a patriarchal pig. What would you know about my problems as a woman? As they sleep in a comfy bed built by a man, in a comfortable house built by a man, with air conditioning that was built by and maintained by men, on paved roads done by men, in a cushy job that she got pushed through the door for, because diversity and inclusion, to work for a man, most likely, to enjoy all the fruits of dating that women do, where men have to pay for dates, have to court them, have to do everything for them, give up everything, provide, with women not expected to do anything traditional anymore. She shouldn't know how to cook. She shouldn't know how to clean. That's beneath her. But you as a man better provide for her, better make 6 figures, better be over 6 foot tall, better have a 6-pack, better give her an allowance and buy her everything she needs, the princess syndrome. And you know what you get in return? Nothing. They bring to the table nothing. Just myself is enough. What do you mean? I'm God's gift to earth. You're lucky I'm even talking to you. That's what they're being indoctrinated into, believing with social media today. You can see it in their attitudes. Hell, average women in China are demanding $7 million, $14 million just for a man to talk to them. But we leave out the important part of you're on the clock and soon you'll have to freeze your eggs. And then you became a cat lady. And then now you're bitter. Now you really hate all men. Now you really push the propaganda onto younger women that don't know any better. We're seeing some women wake up dating over 30. It's a tragedy. You hear about it all the time. All the TikToks. They're crying. They're going to do multiple shots at an office just to maintain fertility. A lot of which could have been avoided if they had stayed traditional. But that's not an accepted message in mainstream today. Actually, if you make a video called How to Find a Traditional Woman, you could lose your income. It just happened with Hamza. He lost his Skillshare account, half of his income. One of the offending videos was TradCons, how to find a traditional wife. Imagine that's the world we live in today. I keep pushing for you guys that want families, that want relationships, that want the traditional lifestyle where your woman's taking care of your kids, not indoctrinated with all this womanish shit, pink, green hair, all this crazy, strong, independent boss babe, don't need no man, all that. Get your passport and leave, bro. Seriously. There's nothing for you here except playing the field on Tinder. That's it. It's a needle in a haystack. And even then, you're at risk. The laws aren't in your favor. The courts will absolutely destroy you. It's her word against yours, and she has priority in the courts, everything. One allegation, your name is dragged through the mud. You got to prove yourself innocent. Look at the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. You are at a disadvantage here in the West. The very oppression they talk about is exactly what's happening to men, pushed from the top down. You don't ever hear them fighting for the job of being a ditch digger, for being up on power lines and fixing them when it's 110 degrees out, laying asphalt, roofing up a house. Nope, those jobs aren't attractive, boys. They're too hard. I still haven't seen a garbage woman yet. Not once, but they sure do love to fight about the imaginary patriarchy holding them back when it comes to C-level suite jobs, being executives, presidents, congresswomen, etc., only in the halls of power. But to do the jobs at the very bottom that keeps all of society running, they can't be asked to do any of that. That's for the men. That's for the drones. That's for these expendable people over here, the invisibles that we never see, that do everything to help this world run. Nope, you don't matter. That's why so many people can't take the womanist message serious, because we're way beyond fighting for equality. If anything, they have the upper hand and are using it to beat down and further solidify power. We're going to hear from a lot of average men that are disenfranchised very soon, and how they're dealing with, politics at work, for example, where they get pushed out of promotions or not hired at all simply because you got to meet a quota. What happened to merit? Anywho, we can go on this for hours. I'll see you guys on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe on Rumble, be a member of Locals as well. Partake in the Spartan Challenge, boys. Free yourself from this poisoned well of modernity and earn your freedom. Surround yourself with like-minded men, and we'll see you on the next one.